Nevertheless, I'll never forget
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday and an energetic start to tonight's stream with Unwanted Stranger. Now, full disclosure, I was still setting up this live stream while that was playing, getting all of the screen capture things going, so as always we will see what happens and see if I've actually set it all up correctly. But let me get you guys up on screen to see who is in the house tonight. And we have Marissa and Bill, Billy, Nalita, Vincent, Mark, Cindy, Mimi I think was in there, Tammy Lloyd, Charlie, Bev, Laurie, Vince as well, Terry going through, Linda, Monix or something like that. Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. It's going through a little bit too quickly to say the names, but yes, welcome to this Saturday night live stream. We are, the big news is we are going to be aiming for the biggest ever likes goal tonight, ever seen, obviously, on a live stream on a Saturday night, because I'm going to get the target up on screen. It is going to be 390, if I remember correctly, from last week being 385, which we did hit. So 390 is what we're going to be aiming for tonight. So this is the point at which I say, if you can leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be massively appreciated to maybe get us to that target by the end of the live stream. We will see where we end up. It is obviously a huge target, but if we do hit that target, it means that we're going to have a pick roulette next Saturday night. We are going to be having one of those tonight as well, so stay tuned for that. But a lot more coming your way. Of course, we have the cover videos being voted for at the moment, and it looks like Don't Slow Down has 50%, and it just changed to Miles Away. So early on in the live stream, it's chopping and changing. So whichever one of those songs you want to hear my version of, just click for that, have your vote, and we'll be listening to one of those a little bit later on. Big shout out to the moderators as well. In that live chat room, you'll see them going through. In fact, I can see that Carla's about to go through there. They have their names in blue and have a wrench next to their names as well. So a big shout out to them. Thank you guys for doing such a fantastic job throughout these live streams on a Saturday and a Tuesday. You'll see Neil in there, Laurie, Susan and Dennis as well on moderating duties. So let me get the names of my patrons up on screen, because they make this all possible in the first place. As I always say, they are the foundation of everything that I do on the channel, including the live streams. So a massive shout out to these lovely people at the bottom of the screen. And I was adding a few extra names to the list, which is great. So thank you guys for joining me over on Patreon. And that's where you can message me directly if you want to. I always keep everyone in the loop over there. Every evening I check the messages and do a post, whether it's an analysis video or just updating you as to how I'm getting on with my admin days, messages, all that kind of stuff, and the possible projects that are going to be happening in the future, of which we have one next week. Next week's going to be a bit of a busy one, because I am going to be chatting, as you guys know, that I mentioned in the last live stream, with Shirley Lewis, who was George Michael's right-hand woman in terms of being a backing vocalist, but performing with him. And it was just George and Shirley on Freedom and Father Figure. So I'm going to be chatting to her next Wednesday, and that's going to be Wednesday evening. So probably not going to be a video coming your way on Wednesday night, but rest assured it's because I'm busy doing that particular interview and joint analysis of her performance with George on Father Figure, and I'll keep you guys in the loop over on Patreon, and that's why I mention it, because patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus is where you can get all the up-to-date news as to how things are going and when videos are going to be released. If the videos are happening, I always say make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell, because if videos are happening that are different ones, like the interview videos that we have occasionally, then Patreon is going to be the best place to keep in the loop about that. But being subscribed means that you will get notified for each video. If you hit you hit the bell to get every video notification and live streams as well, it means that you won't miss anything. So just in case you are a George Michael fan and want to hear about how he was in the studio and get some of that insight that Shirley's going to be providing for us on Wednesday. So looking forward to that one. Right, we have a few more things to get up on screen. Let me get the likeometer up on screen to see where we are at. 209 so far. Let's see if we can get a little spike of the lights going on. Maybe at, 11 minutes past midnight here in the UK. Hopefully, I think most people have tuned in order to see this live, and I think maybe the clock's changed an hour earlier, or I know a few people have actually messaged me telling me all of the time zones in the USA, and not that I'm going to remember all of them, but I'm hoping that they are a little bit earlier. So if you are going to miss this, you might have tuned in an hour earlier, but hopefully it seems like, yeah, we have our usual kind of audience. So thank you guys for spending a bit of time with me live. It's great to chat to you guys in the comment section, but sometimes, you can't really say a lot. And I certainly can't, because there are usually a lot of comments and messages, but at least during the live streams, I can see you guys in that live chat room throughout the whole live stream, and occasionally see some questions in there, and more importantly, you guys can interact with each other as well. So it's a bit of a get-together on a Saturday night and a Tuesday night. Always 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time, by the way. So technically, it's Sunday morning, as early as you can get on a Sunday morning here, and as early as you can get on a Wednesday morning as well. But anyway, let's get the donations tab up on screen, because as I always say, you don't have to donate. Just watching is fantastic. Maybe hitting that thumbs up, leaving a comment, getting involved in the live chat room. Introduce yourself if this is your first live stream, because that's how it works. Here we just say hello to each other, get used to each other's usernames. Of course, mine's Wings of Pegasus, but we get used to everybody else's usernames and just have a bit of a get together on a Tuesday and a Saturday and see what happens. Whatever pops up conversation wise, we usually go down lots of different avenues, and sometimes it's not even music based, but yeah, it's usually mostly music based. But let me get that tab up on screen, because yes, if you can't resist, as some people can't stop themselves from donating, I think it's important that you know between 35 and 45% goes to YouTube through the Super Chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, which you can find in the description below. Right, let's actually just have a quick mention of that donation that came in from Paul. So thank you for that, Paul. It was a donation of $2, and the message was, spike the likes, all y'all, have fun tonight, OSK, which stands for Orlando's Sidekick. So thank you for that, Paul. And I can see those hearts kicking off in the live chat room, or at least at the bottom of the live chat room that I can see. So thank you guys for hitting those things. I don't know whether it counts for anything, but maybe it does. The emoticons of the hearts and I don't know, the smiley faces, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, yes, thank you, Paul, for that donation. Now, I do address all of the donations, as you guys know, even the ones that happen between the live streams. And I'm going to do that now to get nice and up to date, because we had one on Wednesday at 22 minutes past 5 in the evening. Does that count as evening or late afternoon? I'm not sure, but it was PM. Thank you, Andrew, for this £10 donation, and that was a straight up donation, so thank you for that. And Roseanne donated £5. at 10:30 on Wednesday evening. Thank you for that, Roseanne. And that was a message that came with it. It says, "Hi Phil, has your taste in music changed over the years? Are there artists and genres that you now enjoy but did not enjoy 20 years ago? I myself find that I enjoy Frank Sinatra more now than when I was in college years ago." So thank you for that, Roseanne. And I think with my upbringing, I listened to so much music because my parents listened to so much music. I mean, when I was probably in my early teens, then into my late teens, I was very much into the more kind of 80s music, especially hard rock and, classic rock, melodic hard rock as well, and really got centered around that kind of genre, that kind of sound. And when I was learning to play guitar as well, obviously I was listening to, as probably every guitarist was, I mean, probably every guitarist in their teenage years listened at some point to Eddie Van Halen. So yeah, I kind of got into that, got into kind of tapping on the guitar, and then just basically 80s bands at that point. But throughout my life, I've mentioned about, different bands and artists that I've listened to, and we had so many different songs that are being played in the car, because we had a tape deck in the car, which when I was younger was very advanced to actually have a tape deck in your car. So yeah, we had one, and there was one tape in there that had so many different types of songs on, and I guess now it would be like a compilation of lots of different bands and artists is what it would be called, but I'm not sure it was that. I think it was just a song that either my mum or my dad had put together, just recording some of their favourite songs. And so there's a real mix of kind of, Motown tunes, pop songs. There would be maybe a few rock songs on there. I know that Meatloaf was on that particular tape, but it would be such, I mean, for me as a kid, I didn't really think anything of it, but there would be quite a diverse collection of artists and songs that I would just be listening to in the car. Obviously, we drove quite a lot of places, but quite far away places. Like we might be in the car for, say, maybe 3 hours, something like that, when it was holiday time. Because when I was a kid, we didn't go, we weren't fancy enough to go on holiday every year, on a plane, or have multiple holidays abroad. We went down to the coast, which was, either Bournemouth or Dorset, and depending on the weather, then we went and sat on the beach, which, when I say beach, especially, some of the memories that I have, it's mainly stones. It's kind of a stony beach, so it didn't really have sand on it. But yeah, we went and sat there, and if it was nice weather, that was great. Obviously, the water was very cold, being the UK, but those were the holidays, and we drove there. So we literally just packed the car full of everything for I don't know how long we went for, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. So yeah, when I say pack the car full of everything, I mean everything. You've got your buckets and your spades for any sand that you might find. If you get close enough to the water and the tide's out, you might get a bit of sand rather than the rocks. So yeah, we could try and make sand castles as best we could, but that meant that we did have very long drives, and we listened to a lot of different music. So yeah, quite a mix in there. Obviously Jimi Hendrix and all of those artists there, Michael Jackson as well. Definitely a mix. Boston, Peter Gabriel as well. So yeah, that's just a few of the singers, artists, bands. We did have just standalone singers, and we did have bands and different. When I say a different mix, it really was a mix of ages as well. And when I say that, I mean obviously different genres, but music like the Beatles. The Beatles were always being played because my mum and dad are huge Beatles fans. But going from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. And that then took me up to when I was a kid. So yeah, we had pretty much 30 years worth of music, but actually a lot of stuff from the 60s, like The Who, and kind of classic rock and bands from the British invasion. So yeah. Anyway, back to getting a bit sidetracked. Getting back to the question. So my taste in music has always been towards hard rock, melodic hard rock, but I've always listened since my childhood to other bands. So especially when I'm doing analysis videos, it means that I'm looking at bands that I've known before, or at least remind me of, when I was younger, which is great, because it's interesting for me now to look at these artists and analyze their either vocal performances, or if it's a band, their live performances, knowing the song from when I was a kid, but now having the knowledge that I've attained over many, many years of performing music and making music, producing, singing, playing, teaching, all that kind of stuff. It's now really interesting for me to look back at these artists and actually realize what they were doing and why they sound the way that they sound. So anyway, thank you for that, Roseanne. So I wouldn't say that my taste in music has changed. It's just always been quite broad, I think. But thank you for that. And there's another donation that came through from Joseph, who donated £10. Thank you for that. And that was yesterday afternoon at just before 3 p.m. And Nicole donated £12.49. Thank you for that, Nicole. And the message was, "Hello, Phil. Better thoughts for you and Wings of Pegasus group. I'm happy to bring my contribution. I hope all are right around you. Good health, Phil. Kisses and cheers." So thank you for that. And just a quick mention of that Facebook group. If you guys want to get involved over there, type in Wings of Pegasus supporters group, and you'll be allowed into that, and you'll be able to interact with everybody in between the live streams, because that's where all of these cool people hang out between Saturdays and Tuesdays. Also, that's where I grab the pictures from, or at least I'm linked to them, so that I can show them on the live streams. So thank you for that, Nicole. And I'm just going to scroll to the next one, because this is another one that's come through from Nicole for £12.95. And if that was an accidental double donation, don't worry about that. We can sort that out. But the message was, I think the same thing, maybe slightly shorter. Hello, Phil. Better thoughts for you and Wings of Pegasus. I'm happy to bring my contribution. Good health, kisses and cheers. So thank you for that again, Nicole. Right. Tammy donated £10 as well, and this was about an hour and a half ago, maybe a couple of hours ago, so we're a little bit more up to date now. Thank you for this, Tammy. And yes, that £10 donation is a straight up donation. So thank you for that, David, as well, in the super chat window, $5. And the message with that says, "Phil, do you have a favourite 1960s American rock and roll band?" So thank you for that, David. And I mean, this is, I wouldn't say actually, rock and roll was one of the genres that wasn't well represented when I was a kid. So we listened to a lot of music, but not really any, American rock and roll or kind of classic old rock and roll. I mean, probably the closest that we got, of course, which was everybody got, was Elvis. So as for a 1960s American rock and roll band, I can't pick out one off the top of my head that has been with me for any length of time, so it wouldn't really be fair for me to say that I had a favourite or not, because like I said, it's just rock and roll wasn't a genre that my parents were particularly into, and it's more something that I've looked at on the channel with analysis videos. Another interesting thing about doing those analysis videos is that, I do get to see bands that I haven't heard before, and very much, opens me up to listening to music and appreciating music from different genres, appreciating bands and artists on a different level to music that I wouldn't necessarily have heard before or been exposed to when I was younger. So that's a great thing about doing the analysis videos as well. So for that, David, I think I'd have to go back and have a long think about bands. It's something that nothing pops into my mind, but thank you for that, David. I'll have to have a bit more of a dive into some rock and roll, but thank you, Marianne, as well, for that $20 donation. And it's a lemon hugging something else, which maybe an apple. I can't tell. But anyway, it's like a lemon person. A person with a lemon head. So thank you for that, Marianne. And Stardust Unicorn, support band to Wings of Pegasus, as I always say, have donated $1.49. So thank you for that. And a picture of a rainbow there. And there's one more that's just come through from Tom for $6.99. So thank you for that, Tom. And the message is, Ren fan, would love to hear your thoughts on his guitar playing and on his voice and on his art. So thank you for that, Tom. And maybe, I mean, when people do ask me to do analysis videos, I do mention that if you want to put the particular video that you might have in mind, or even kind of, I mean, ideally a live performance is great, but a song as well, that would be great. Just leave it in the comment section anywhere, pretty much on the channel, because I do go through all of the comments. But if you want to go to, I mean, there's a few ways that people do it, even though I say put the request in the comments section of any video. A lot of people do email them as well, and also through wingsofpegasus.com through the contact form on there. So yes, Tom, if there is a particular performance, live or otherwise, even a studio one, because we can get into that with looking at not only kind of the song, but with vocal analysis videos that I've done in the past, with vocal pitch monitor, all that kind of stuff. I have looked at some songs that aren't necessarily live, that have been recorded in the studio. So thank you for that, Tom. And yeah, just link me to a video and I'll stick that on the analysis videos request list. Right, there has been another donation in the PayPal window. I'm going to get this up on screen so that we can see that. Hopefully it's Karen who has donated £10, and I think that is showing up. So thank you for that, Karen. And it is a straight up donation. So thank you for that. And Kevin's donated £1, so thank you for that, Kevin. And scrolling down, because the message is Happy Mothering Sunday in the UK. Happy Mother's Day to your mum. Spike the likes. So thank you for that, Kevin. And yes, tomorrow it is Mother's Day, which thankfully I did remember early in the week. So I managed to sort everything out for that. So thank you for that, Kevin. I don't know if it's, I mean, I'm assuming that it's different in different countries, because I know that some people have sometimes said, you know, Happy Mother's Day during a live stream, but it hasn't been Mother's Day here in the UK. So I think, yeah, it does fall on different days, but it is certainly that day tomorrow. I mean, it's actually today, but yeah, when everybody wakes up tomorrow, it will be Mother's Day. So thank you, Kevin, for that. Karen has donated £3.93. So thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, hi, Phil. I look forward to your interview with Shirley Lewis. Additionally, I've been getting quite an education from your recent music analysis videos from one musician to another musician. Thanks for all you do. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that, Karen. And yeah, that's going to be a fascinating chat on Wednesday. I mean, George Michael was one of those voices that was definitely prominent in my youth, because my dad is a huge George Michael fan, because of course, you know, when somebody moves on, their music just stays. I mean, which is great, and the performances that we can look on YouTube as well is great. But what is going to be interesting is to get that insight of how he was in the studio, how he worked on blending, well, getting his backing vocalists to blend their voices with his voice, also about his producing, because you know, he was a great producer, but a lot of people don't know that he did so much just himself. It wasn't just that he relied on loads of other people. You know, being a songwriter himself, an instrumentalist, vocalist, producer. So yeah, it's going to be great. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. But thank you, Karen, for that donation. And here we have another donation from Constance for £10. So thank you for that. And I'm just going to scroll down, because the message is, hi, Phil. Are you planning what to ask Shirley, or are you winging it? Have a great visit. So thank you for that. And I mean, generally I'll have ideas of what I want to ask. I mean, I don't write down questions, but I know what I want to ask people. So it's not something that I have to think of, oh, what do I want to know? I just like I've just mentioned about blending voices and, working on lyrics and, phrasing of particular vocal lines, using more air in the sound to blend more. His use of reverb that he has, especially on Father Figure, which we're going to look at. There's quite a lot of reverb on that sound, and I'd like to maybe see if Shirley knows anything about his tendencies in the studio as to the effects that he used, maybe effects that she used as well, how many takes, their mic setup, whether they would record one line and then Shirley would harmonise, sing her line maybe separately, maybe they sang at the same time. So yeah, loads of questions that, I don't have to write them down. I'm just going to literally just have an onslaught of questions. So this is the problem sometimes with the interview type videos, is they go on for quite a long time. I can be talking to someone for maybe an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, because I'm just throwing questions, just things that I want to know about themselves as singers or guitarists. Actually, Shirley's going to be the first singer that I've done a joint analysis video with when we're looking at their performance. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one just from that point of view. But anyway, thank you for that, Constance. And another one's just come through. So Sheila has donated £5 as well, and that is a straight up donation, so thank you for that, Sheila. Right, let's try and keep things moving forward for tonight's live stream. At the moment, let's have a look at that cover video. 53% for Miles Away, so we might be having a little bit of Winger later on. And I can see that we've got 303 likes going on in that. I'd have to go around that side of the microphone to try and point to it. There it is. It's always so difficult when everything's reversed. But yeah, 304 likes so far. So if you could hit that thumbs up if you haven't done that so far, that would be massively appreciated to try and get us to our target of, it's kind of over in that direction, 390, which means we're looking for 86. That's a little bit easier for me to, work out, because sometimes the numbers can be a little bit confusing. So anyway, let's have a quick look. I think Richard has just come in with a $9.99 donation, so thank you for that, Richard. And the message is, what's your opinion of Creedence Clearwater Revival? So thank you for that, Richard. And yes, I mean, Creedence are one of those bands that I've spoken about before on the channel and live streams, and the fact that Mr. Fogarty was actually sued for sounding too much like himself, which I don't go through that whole thing again. But when he then moved on from Creedence and the record label, when he then released his own music, his own songs, and they tried to sue him for that very reason, that what, you're just copying Creedence Clearwater Revival, what are you doing? So absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, that kind of sound, I mean, it's what I would consider just proper, classic rock. I mean, in terms of, it's not really, I mean, when you think about the guitars, they're not really distorted, but I think a lot of the attitude is in the vocal, and that kind of, delivery of obviously having a little bit of rasp on the sound, belting and chest voice, all that kind of stuff. And that's the other thing about a lot of the songs that are kind of way up there in the male tenor range, and it's just great because John just had that ability to lean into chest voice and nail out, those G4s, those A4s, B4s, C5s, and I'm talking about in chest voice here. So he started to get that rasp to his voice. So it's such a unique sound, but it's just a great sound because of the guitar work, of course. And I have featured, a few analysis videos, I think, on certainly Creedence Clearwater Revival, but on John Fogerty as well. I think I already did a live one on John. So anyway. It was great to have a look at him, his voice, his guitar playing ability as well, singing, playing at the same time. But it's certainly one of those bands that is standalone in terms of the sound. like, yeah, like when Fortunate Son starts up, it's just iconic when I'm talking about the sound of the guitar, because listen to that riff when it comes in. We are actually really clean. When you're talking about a classic rock sound, it's got a hint of attitude, of distortion on there, but it's such a really cool riff. And then as soon as you hear that, like I'm say, it's a standalone band, just classic sound of guitars mixed with that voice. And yeah, so anyway, I don't want to go on about it for too long, but my opinion is that I am a huge fan of that kind of sound, and to me that kind of sound is real classic rock, because it's not overly heavy, it's not hard rock, it's got a little bit on there, but the guitars are still pretty clean, but all of the attitude you'll get through the vocal. So obviously, you need a vocalist who has that ability at the front of the stage and in the studio in order to produce that. And certainly, when you're talking about one of the great rock voices of all time, yeah, John's definitely up there. But anyway, thank you for that, Richard. Right, let me try and keep everything moving forward in tonight's live stream. We are going to be looking at, I think, just one picture. We're going to be having that pick roulette. I'm going to be maybe doing a fill jam at the end. We will probably have enough time for that. Fingers crossed. And I remember seeing something over on Patreon before. I think it might have been, talking about the track at the end. It might have been Joe that did quite a long comment. I can't remember what it was. Oh, here we have it. So, Joe was requesting some songs, then cover Aqualung, which is something that Joe always requests. And he does a little winky face because he knows that he knows there is no such Aqualung cover. But anyway, thank you for that, Joe. Here we go. A Q&A. What about World Temperament or the Devil's Interval Tritone? How many cents does your guitar go out of tune? 2 to 4 cents by leaving the pick in the strings. How many milliseconds does this affect the period of string changes rotation? With a smiley face and, of course, jam away. So thank you for that, Joe. Right. I'm not going to be able to answer all of those questions. And as for World Temperament, Equal Temperament, Just Intonation, things that I have mentioned in previous videos, I mean, that is going to take... even trying to explain it is really difficult, and I haven't yet found a way to... other than explaining Equal Temperament is taking music, which is something that's kind of quite free form in frequency and just in nature, because sound is in nature. It's not something that we invented. It already happened due to things happening in the atmosphere. Once you've got an atmosphere and you, for example, hit something, you then get a sound from that. So yeah, we didn't invent sound. But anyway, Equal Temperament is basically turning, and this is what you'll have on keyboards, pianos, is equal temperament. So it means that the notes on the keyboard or piano have been separated in order to fit equally 12 notes. So when I've mentioned about, I don't know, for people that don't know anything about music, on the 12th fret of your guitar is where the octave is. It means that you've gone up through all of the letters and all of the sharps, all of the flats, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you've got to the A again, because that's how music works. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and every time you start again, that's another octave. So, yeah, that when you get to that second octave, it means that you are now 12 notes higher than you started, and on a piano, it means that you're literally just dividing the frequency of that octave from where it started into 12. So it's equal. And those are divided by 100 cents per note. So that's kind of the way that it's divided up. But, of course, maybe not, of course, you might not know, but music doesn't work that way. That's just a system that has been used in order to get something that's going to sound relatively accurate to how music works, but actually it's not quite how music works. On every note, there'll be slight concessions of pitch that is made in order to make every note nice and equal. So yeah, that's what equal temperament is, and just temperament is the natural way of tuning. What I've said about on the guitar before, when you tune through harmonics, you can start to actually hear the waves of that particular note, and once they're in sync, those two notes are now perfectly in tune because you're listening to the actual frequency rather than trying to get each note on your keyboard or something, to be divided equally. Probably really bad. But yeah, so anyway, stringed instruments, yeah, you can tune those by hearing the frequency rather than having to rely on dividing an octave by 12 and then saying, right, that is what it's got to be because that's the equation that we've invented in order to make that happen. Right, I said that this is going to take a long time to explain, so let's move on. The devil's interval tritone. How many cents does your guitar go out of tune? Okay, I'll do the tritone thing in a second. How many cents did your guitar go out of tune? 2 to 4 cents by leaving the pick in the strings. Okay, right, I leave my pick in the strings all the time, and it's not something that's affected me ever because I don't play my guitar with my pick in the strings, and there's going to be obviously a ever so slight increase in tension, but it's negligible, is that the right word? But it's so small it doesn't matter. And if you find that your guitar is going out of tune, I tune my guitar by ear most of the time anyway, so if there is a string that's ever so slightly out, then I'll tune it, but I've never had to constantly tune my guitar because I'm leaving the pick in the string. So yeah, it doesn't really matter, and it won't affect the life of your strings. What will affect the life of your strings is how much you're playing every day, because that's something that I used to do maybe, 3 or 4 hours a day, and yeah, you'll go through strings quite quickly, especially if you're working on bends quite a lot, doing a lot of bends that might be a tone or more in pitch. So yeah, you can wear them out pretty quickly. But okay, devil's interval. This is relatively, let me grab my guitar. And this is good because I can check for later in the stream whether this is actually plugged in and whether we can hear it or not. Okay, is that coming through? Hopefully it is. Right, I'm just playing a G. Let me move a little bit here. And that's actually a G5 technically. Fifth with an octave above. I move like this. So the tritone is, fortunately for me, it's kind of one of those sounds that is just really 80s, especially, if you're kind of an 80s hard rock fan, Lynch Mob. So George Lynch used to love this and probably still does love this sound. So what you're doing is taking the fifth down like that, and so that's it. As to why it's called the devil's interval, I'm not too sure, other than it kind of sounds probably like, I can imagine that people when they're kind of playing their chords, and you've got your root note and your fifth, or you've got your major third or your minor third, so major, minor. But anyway, when they're playing through it, because it's discordant, it's dissonant when you play it by itself, but when you play it in context of any chord, you can kind of move that anyway. I'm just playing this kind of in G, kind of like that. But if you're just playing it in isolation, it can kind of sound like it's wrong, in inverted commas, and maybe that's why it was called the devil's interval, because people say, oh no, you can't play that. You're not allowed to play that note because it's not natural. It's not like all the music that might have been written ages ago. But I think that nowadays that kind of thing, you listen to it and it's not, especially when you play it in context, it's not bad. It doesn't sound that dissonant because you resolve it back to the fifth, you know, kind of like that. So anyway, when you are playing through that, I mean, I'm saying taking the fifth down, or you can raise the fourth if you want to describe it that way. So like diminished fifth or augmented fourth. Okay, get a bit complicated, but yeah, I mean it's a sound that I really like because of lynch mob and that kind of thing. It's just got a bit of attitude in there, as you would expect, being called the Devil's Interval. But anyway, thank you for that, Joe. I think I almost got through all those questions, but let's pop this away so that we can get things, make sure I'm not falling off a chair, which has a little bit more freedom to it. And because these fold up when I am leaning over, and it's got wheels on as well, so there's obviously an increased chance that I could go for a bit of a journey down to the floor, but I got away with that. It's all okay. Right, let me move forward a bit and maybe put my hand in front of the camera so that it now sees the room as light as it is rather than making it really dark. Right, back on track. So thank you, Joe, for that. I just remembered seeing that particular comment. But yeah, usually the questions and all that kind of stuff, yeah, I look into the live chat room sometimes. I know that there is a Q&A thing that you can do in there as well, but I haven't done that tonight because I tell you what, maybe we'll start one. We always run out of time for the Q&A thing, but let me click on that. Start Q&A. Oh, the other thing is that we have to lose the live chat room in order to see the questions, but I'll say, ask me a question, please. So I do this, but we'll see if we do have time to get into any questions. Oh, it's all disappeared. What's happened here? Oh, it's changed to the questions. Let's go back to the live chat. Okay, and everything is back. Right, let's get into tonight's cover video. Okay, let's start that and stop that. So I've just stopped the poll. I think it was going to be miles away by the look of it, maybe 55% of the vote, and it's just about to go through. So vote for tonight's cover video. Yes, 54% of the vote has gone to miles away. So we'll jump into that, and then we'll look at the picture before the pick roulette. Maybe have a few questions if you guys are typing in questions, that's good. We might be able to address one or two of those. Right, I hope you guys enjoy. This is my version of Miles Away by Winger, and I'll see you guys after. Rock! Okay, so quick introduction to this next video. This is more of a tribute video to Kip Winger, as I've been to see Kip in London and with his band, Winger, numerous times, and once I even went to France just to watch Winger. So this is my tribute, and it's me playing and singing Miles Away, and I hope you like it. See you later. Rock!
So this is love, or so you tell me, as you're walking out the door. Months go by, and I know for certain it's not the love I'm looking for. Sometimes, just for a moment, I reach out and hope you're still there. Miles away, no, you're never turning back. I just can't wait anymore. Miles away, nothing left but what we had. Just when I needed you most, you were miles away. It's hard to tell what you're going through. You kept your feelings locked inside of you. Open your heart and chances are what you're feeling, I'm feeling too. If
And there we have it. That was my version of Miles Away by Winger. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Right, we are maybe going to be jumping into, let's have a look at the picture first, then maybe a quick Q&A, then a pick roulette, and then maybe a fill jam as well. So see if we can fit that all in before the end of the live stream. By the way, 374 likes so far, meaning we're looking for 26 more people in that live chat room if my maths is correct. So if you can hit that thumbs up, if you haven't done that yet, it would be much appreciated so that we can have a pick roulette next Saturday. And if you're watching this in the future on catch up, you can still hit that thumbs up. It really does help this channel to grow and for this live stream to get out there a little bit more. Right, let's jump into the picture that has been sent my way. And let me get to the right section to find that it is Vince and Sandy who are doing some modelling here. We have not only the Wings of Pegasus tumbler, but we have the Wings of Pegasus t-shirt, and Sandy's got on the Wings of Pegasus hoodie as well. So a lot of merch on show there. Thank you for uploading that one, Vince, and for showing off the merch. And it reminds me that I haven't even plugged any of the merch or mug. I usually plug the mug. I almost said plug the merch, but then I realised, no, that's not what I usually say. So plug the mug, and there we have it. So if you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, click on the tray underneath this video if you have one that shows t-shirts and mugs and caps and things. But if you don't have one, there's a link in the description below so you can get your hands on all of the things that I just said, including the tumbler and t-shirt and hoodies that were just being modelled by Vince and Sandy. So thank you for uploading those ones. If you want to head over to wingsofpegasus.com/merch, you'll find guitar picks and guitar pick earrings and necklaces, all that kind of stuff that Carla sorts out over there. So, right, let's get back to everything, because I think, let's jump into actually the questions. So let me go over here and see. We're going to lose the live chat room for a second. Let's see if we've had any questions. Yes, we have. And right at the top, I can see that Ro says, how is your arm? So thank you for that, Ro. And my arm's not too bad at the moment. The problem that I've got is, and I'm hoping that it's going to kind of rectify itself relatively soon, the initial injury that I had, which I spent it's almost been like a year and a half recovering from, was the tendon on the inside of my arm here. So that went a little bit kaput, unfortunately, but that was my own fault because I thought it was just a muscular thing, and then I was working out, lifting lots of heavy weights, actually damaging the tendon more and more for about 4 weeks back in 2021. So I've been pretty much on rest from there, but now the tendon actually feels fine. But because I couldn't extend my arm because of the tendon, it means that I kept my arm pretty much bent for I don't know how long, probably at least 6 or 7 months. That would be my default position to hold my arm, because extending it put tension on the tendon and then kind of was painful. But the problem that I have now is because I had my arm in a bent position for quite a long time, the nerve in my arm is now in slightly the wrong place. So occasionally I'll get a nerve feeling here, which is weird, sometimes kind of up here, and it's like a sudden sharp, everyone knows what a nerve feels like when you hit your elbow on something, and it's, we call it here your funny elbow, because it's not very funny when you catch the nerve when you hit your elbow on something. So it's that kind of thing, but it's also happened kind of in my wrist. So whatever nerve is going down here and going into my hand, occasionally I'll just get a little tweak of that. And I'd say over, I don't know, the last kind of 4 or 5 days, because I feel like now the tendon's fine, obviously I'm starting to push things a little bit further as to what I can do with my arm, and the main problem I'm having is the nerve issue. So I'm just doing the same physio that I've been doing for the tendon, but I'm starting to do it a little bit more hoping that just exercising my arm a bit more in different directions will start to set that back to where it should be, that particular nerve. I think the problem is, because I've exercised since the age of 13, I've done resistance training and weights, it's just been a constant thing in my life. There's always been some kind of muscle mass around my nerves, and just my arms in general have had muscle mass to them. So now that I've spent kind of almost a year and a half not doing anything with my arm, of course all that muscle mass is now gone, and the nerve maybe is resting up against somewhere different to how it used to when there's kind of more mass in there. I don't know, but I'm hoping that it's going to rectify itself, and if it doesn't, then I'll have to chat with a physiotherapist or a doctor or something to see if I can kind of manipulate it, or somebody can manipulate that nerve to get back where it should be. So anyway, yes, thank you for that. Cindy says, do you ever have time for a vacation? So simple answer, no, not really. So a very easy question. I mean, nowadays, especially with the amount of subscribers and the analysis videos, the live streams, the admin, the emails that I get, it's just really a full-on thing. So yeah, I don't ever have a day away from what I'm doing, or answering questions, doing comments on YouTube, looking at all of that kind of stuff, or planning analysis videos if I'm doing that one particular day. So yeah. Right, let me have a little look further down. Karen's in there and said, hi Phil, keep showing your palm and I'll be encouraged to read it. Laugh out loud. So thank you for that. And let me have a little look further down. Corey says, is there a song you can't stand? I'm not sure. I mean, nothing springs to mind, because even I think songs that people don't like, I listen to the way it's been produced, for example, because there's always something about a song, even if you don't like the song, or you might not like the band or the singer, you can always listen to the production in terms of how it's been panned, how much reverb they've applied, where they've placed the instruments, how they've EQ'd the instruments, how they sit independently in the mix. So there's lots of things that you can listen out for as a producer, or as somebody who's analysing a particular song. So you're not really thinking about the song and thinking, oh, I don't like this, it's not my particular genre that I'm into. So yeah, my mind just kind of goes into that kind of mode. So yeah, but anyway, let's get back to, it's almost 1 a.m. So yeah, this is the problem with the questions. Sometimes I just ramble on for ages, but we will jump into the live chat room again. Hopefully that's going to load. And right, we are now loading the live chat room, which is good. And let's get into tonight's pick roulette. I'm just making sure that this is going to be live when I click on it. So hopefully it is. Anyway, I haven't picked a top tip for the pick roulette tonight. So if you want to be the top tip, make sure you let me know in the live chat room. I'll have a little look in there before I spin the wheel to pick out a name to see if we can have a winner for the first time ever who's going to be the top tip for tonight. But right, let's get that organised. I'm ready to type in a name. Let's jump into tonight's pick roulette. Good luck, everyone, and I'll see you guys in a second. Rock. So let's take a look at the wheel, and Robert M says pick me. So that was just when I looked into that live chat room, that's what I saw. So Robert M is the top tip for tonight. If this is your first pick roulette, the darker segments here are the t-shirts. If we land on one of those, then we have a t-shirt roulette. But if we land on somebody's name, they go away with the side wings of Pegasus pick. So let's give the wheel a spin and see who's going to win. I didn't look out for Robert M's name on the wheel, so hopefully we'll see it when we land on it. So we are slowing down. I can see everyone saying pick me, and Karen says sight. I don't know what that means, but anyway, we are slowing down on the wheel. And is it going to get as far as a t-shirt. It could do, maybe, I don't know. I'm not seeing Robert's name anywhere close, so it's not going to be the first winner. But we have Ro, who is the winner for tonight, so congratulations to you, Ro. You have won yourself a signed Wings of Pegasus pick. Now, if you can let yourself be known to Carla in the live chat room, that would be much appreciated, so that she can get everything that she needs from you in order to send you that signed Wings of Pegasus pick. So, yeah, congratulations, Ro, and commiserations to everybody else who didn't win tonight, including Robert M. But, as I always say, double your chances of winning by tuning in on a Tuesday evening as well as a Saturday evening, because we live stream at 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time on a Tuesday and a Saturday every week. And we have a pick roulette whenever we do hit that pick roulette likes goal. Now, talking about the pick roulette likes goal, I can see that we are at 398 likes. So we have indeed hit our target for tonight. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. You can keep on doing that, of course. And if you're watching this on in the future on catch up, you can still hit that thumbs up, and it really does help with everything getting out there and for the channel to grow. So we are now going to open up the entries for next week's pick roulette, because we will be having one next week. If you want to get your name on that wheel and win a signed Wings of Pegasus pick and potentially a custom made signed Wings of Pegasus t-shirt, this is what you have to do. And pay attention, because you have to do this exactly correctly. At Carla, I say I have to do it exactly correctly. I'm going to make sure that I type it correctly. At Carla Murray, and type I agree. Exclamation mark is optional, but I'm going to press enter and have a look at what I've done in the live chat room. In order to tag Carla in your post, you have to type it exactly as I have done it there, and you'll see lots of people's names going through. So make sure it's at Carla Murray with capital C, capital M with a space in between, and then I agree after that as well. I can see that we're getting lots of official entries going through. Linda has done I agree at Carla Murray without a space between I agree and at Carla Murray. So that's what I'm talking about. Be really careful with typing it, because if it doesn't have all the spaces in the right place, then Carla won't get tagged and she won't be able to see it. So she needs to see everybody's entry to then put it on the wheel for next week. So just make sure that you have done it correctly. Right now, we normally have a bit of a fill jam while you guys are entering. I think I've done everything for the live stream tonight. It's been a bit of a blur as to covering everything. We've done the picture, done the pick roulette, and we've done the cover, so everything's fine. I don't know why I feel like I've forgotten something, but we will jump into the fill jam, and let me jump over to here in order to grab. I can see that the picture's gone a bit dark again, but we're just going to have to deal with that because I'm moving away from the screen, and I think it goes darker when I'm further away because I'm going to need to grab the guitar. But, I always mess this up by going to the wrong place. Okay, right, I've got Joe's messages here. And what shall we have a look at tonight? What have we looked at so far? Oh, I can't remember which one we did last time. Was it the blues one? I'm not sure. I can't remember. Right. I think we've done both of the blues ones. So let's move into something else. What about... Right, there's one that says Space Rock. Sounds interesting. So, another one that wants a David Gilmour phrasing short track, those 6 minutes. Okay, right, well, we've got 6 minutes, so I can click on that and pause that and silence the advert and skip the advert and move it back to the beginning, unmute it. Okay, right, I think everything's ready to go there. And this is from Nick Neblo or Neblo. This is one of those channels that we have mentioned in the past, and it's Neblo. and it is a space rock ballad guitar backing track, A minor jam. Okay, right, we'll give this a go, and type in to that chat room. Yeah, it's only going to be 6 minutes, so yeah, just got 6 minutes to enter in for next week's Pick Roulette. So do that now and make sure you type it correctly. Right, I know that this is plugged in. Hopefully the levels are going to be okay. We'll have a little playthrough. And what I tend to do is have a little look into the live chat room so that I can see if you guys can hear it or not. So I'm hoping that the sound's going to be okay, because it's only 6 minutes and 11 seconds. Right, let's give this a little bit of a play, see what happens. Make sure, hopefully my guitar's going to come through. Can you guys hear it? Maybe let me know, because I can hear it, which is good. Okay, sounds great. More cowbell, Kevin says. Okay, right, we will keep on getting into it then. Try and move up a bit. And there we have it with an official, almost, stop that advert, with an almost official sounding ending there because we had a bit of a fade out. So, yeah, that was a good one. Only, it's moved on to the advert now, but I think that, just over 6 minutes in length. Anyway, so thank you guys for tuning in to tonight's live stream. I hope you guys have typed I agree, tagged Carla Murray in your post as well. So that, I think somebody said, before it disappeared, key of the song A minor. So yes, that was in A minor. So actually kind of natural minor is what I was going to. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was in A minor. It's from Nick Neblo, space rock ballad guitar backing track, A minor jam. So right, we are going to be calling things to a close. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. It's going to be another video coming your way tomorrow night, and I'm going to be live streaming again on Tuesday night. So hopefully I can see you guys then as well. If you can make it, that's where I will be. 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time, as always. Then a Wednesday night, I'm going to be chatting with Shirley. So there won't be a video on Wednesday, but I'll keep you guys in the loop over on Patreon. So that's patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. Right. So have a great rest of your weekend. Try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live in, as I always say. And I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock!